Back to spreading topsoil. This is the final pile of topsoil that I have. It was a huge pile here a couple years ago. We've used most of it. This is what's left. I scraped this up a couple weeks ago. The good thing with leaving it sit that long is that I think a lot of the weeds and vegetation have composted in there. So I'm hoping it comes out pretty clean. And this is really just going to push the golf course as far to the river as I can. Get some tee boxes over here, change some looks, really just add a lot of golf here. So going to be a little thinner. I'm going to probably transition to tougher grasses than Kentucky Bluegrass in some of these areas. They won't have irrigation, not all of them, most of it will. But yeah, we're going to see how far this goes. It is warm today. One thing I want to get done before I get all this topsoil spread is trim a few of my trees. I don't have a lot of great trees here. This was an old gravel pit, so not a lot was really on the main area here, but I do have this white spruce and I've been pruning it for probably, this might be the 4th or 5th year that I've pruned that, and they get nice and tight. It's a nice trick that you can use to turn a normal tree that was just growing there into a fairly nice looking tree. That tree actually looked a lot like this white spruce, very similar. This one's just older and was taller, and I couldn't prune it because it was so tall, but you can see through it. They really stretch and grow, but if you cut them back midsummer, they'll actually become a nice looking tree. So that is today's job, if I can handle the heat here. This is about my only fairway trees here, so I left them. There was 2 natural ones. I did have a bunch of other junk kind of growing in here. It came out a couple springs ago. We cut that out, so I really only have half of a tree. This spruce tree looks good from here. From the other side, it is pretty much bare. Well, that's it for the pruning. All that pruning really does is shorten those growing branches, and then it's going to bud out next spring on a shorter branch, which is going to make tighter and tighter growth every year. That wasn't a very pretty tree 5 years ago, but it looks good now. That's probably a $300 tree if you want to buy that in the nursery. I also want to keep this one small because we're working on that tee box back there. We got the topsoil coming down. That's going to be a really nice shot back towards the house, over the pond, and over this tree. So I could cut it down, but I'd rather just try and keep it nice and small and tight here. This is it for the topsoil. We're down to the last couple loads here. So as far as this goes, that's as far as I'm going this year. This area right here is almost complete. We'll get some nice grass growing here. We'll have a very nice tee box here that's going to go long that way. And then it can also go short over there. It's still a tricky enough shot. I want to get more soil into that slope there. And he's taking soil down right now to clean up around that golf green. Where I stopped last year, it's a little bit rough where my soil meets. So I want to make sure I have enough soil down there. I'm working on this tee box back here, trying to smooth the topsoil out, and it is so dusty. We have had 2.1 millimeters. That's like less than 1/8 of an inch of rain in the last 3 weeks, which is not normal for this area. It's been record heat and dry, and this is just terrible. I got it in my mouth. I should be wearing a mask. I can taste it. I'm back again. I think I finally have enough time to wrap up this area of the golf course extension, the lawn extension. This is going to be Kentucky Bluegrass, a little bit of a mix of perennial ryegrass. We're almost ready to do the final drag here. One problem, I think, I have to cut some trees back at that tee box. Nice late summer morning, the sun is coming up over this hill and we have dew on the greens. It's that time of year. I can't believe it. It's embarrassing to say. It is the last week of August coming up here. I have no idea where summer went. I should have had this done long ago, but here we are. I'm gonna wrap it up this weekend, I promise, I promise. My dad has already started his usual hand raking. He loves to hand rake topsoil, and honestly, I can't argue with him. I kind of want to drag this a little bit more, but I don't want to damage his raking here. He's going right around this green, tying in the existing collar with our new topsoil. Behind this green, down in that area, I want to do a tee box down there. That one's pretty straightforward. It's just out in the open. I may thin a few trees here just to get more sunlight on that grass, but for the most part, it's in good shape. The problem or the slowdown I have is when I come over here. This is a really nice tee box. It's elevated back there, but you can kind of see already before we're up there, this elm tree is dying. I've got a Scotch pine and a spruce there that's really creeping in to where we want to hit balls. So I don't want to stop here because I'm so far behind, and I hate cutting trees, mostly because it's a lot of cleanup and takes some time here, but these guys are gonna have to go. I think this will probably rank as the second best tee shot on the entire course, so I wanna make sure it's a nice look for the golfers, and that's the issue with this brush here. The branches hanging out, they're gonna be a problem because if you hit from here, you can maybe put a box right here, you're still gonna launch high. This is a long hole for me, but it's long as in 120-ish yards, so not super long or anything, but you're definitely using high loft. I've gotta clear all of these branches, and that's gonna slow me down, but I think I might as well start with that before I have all this topsoil nicely done, and then I've got to drag trees across it. Well, that certainly opens things up. Cutting the trees down, always the easiest part. Cleaning up the mess takes so much more time, so I'll get on that next. That is also why I don't like to cut trees down. I don't really have that many here, so I like to take care of what I have. However, I have a nice tee shot back there, and I don't want to interfere with ball flight, so those trees just had to go. The trees are all cleaned up, and that is why I put that job off so long. I knew it was going to be a big enough job. Lost some time for sure, but it looks so good. This right side of this tee box now is so clean. You can swing a club here, no problem. I tossed down the old tee mat, and we came out with the kids, hit a few shots from here, and it's a really nice shot. I like it. That was the first shot I've ever hit from here, even though I roughed this in probably 5 years ago. One of the originals. Maybe 105, 110. Nice wedge shot, a very small green, 1,200 square feet. So a hard green to hit on a par 3. So with that tree intermission over, I got to get back to this dirt one last time. I've been talking to you about this topsoil way too long. It is dragged on long enough. It's time to get back in the machine. I think I'm going to give it one more power rake, just a light one, pull out any rock that's there, take down any slopes that I don't like. Back for another day, determined to get the seed down today. I realized last night that I didn't finish the final loop of this irrigation system. I had 2 more heads to put on. Last year I ran 2,600 feet of this 1-inch poly pipe. For rotors on this homemade irrigation system, I went with the Hunter I-25. It's a commercial-ish rotor, throws a lot of water, so you have to size your pump. I can get away with 5 of these on one zone, and I can space my heads about 42 feet apart, so I can get pretty much a 40-foot spray head to head for good coverage. If you want to try and build your own irrigation system, honestly, it wasn't that bad. It was a ton of work, but I saved thousands of dollars. A lot of this stuff comes from a hardware store. You can find whatever rotor you want to use online, easy to get. And honestly, now that it's set up, the new controllers work from Wi-Fi basically, so I can turn that on with a click of my phone, and I can have all the rotors pop up in a zone, roll through them. You can have it timed, you can have it scheduled. I can't believe this area is finally done, finally ready for seed. This was a giant pile of rock. It was a huge hole to begin with, actually, and then I just filled it up with rock, put some soil over it. It seems to be holding pretty good. It went through last winter and settled, and my dad's done a great job hand raking. I was just gonna drag it with the tractor, but I mean, the hand raking, you just cannot beat it when you get that landscape rake out. Take your time. It's such a nice look. So that area is pretty good. Just gonna do some dragging. I'm gonna drag back up to that tee box. All around this, the little pump house, clubhouse area, I definitely have a little bit more work to do, but getting super close here to finishing this off for good. There's my last rotor. I gotta put one more sprinkler head in here, and then I am done. We're finally at the last step before putting down grass seed, and what I do is use this thing. This is a drag that goes behind the tractor. It's called a chain harrow. It is heavy, and it is kind of rough looking, but what it does is has some weight, and it has these tines on it, but I don't actually use the tines. The tines are here. You can flip it over and then really dig in. I don't really want to dig in. I just want to smooth it over. So I'm using the back side. It is smooth on that side. And what it's going to do is take off any high spots and drop it into the lower spots. This thing is worth its weight in gold. It will make you look good. That was a lot of dragging, but it does a very good job. If you look back at the fairway over here, this was done last October. It came up really late in November, but I can still see these tracks from that drag. You can see the tracks here. Just those deeper grooves, it seems to hold the seed really well. A year later, I can still see them in the fairway as that bluegrass starts to mature, and it'll spread out and cover that up. Everything's dragged. I took a bucket full of rocks out of here that were laying on the surface. That drag will pop them up, so that's another nice feature with that drag. But everything looks good. We're getting into mid to late afternoon, so I think it's time to get the seed out and get this thing done. This is a hard property to measure. I'm jealous of the YouTube guys who have rectangle lawns because they're really easy to figure out square footage. I think I have about 10 to 12,000 here in raw topsoil. So I'm just figuring out I can hold 5 pounds almost exactly in here. This is my leftover mix from last fall. There's about 15 pounds maybe left in here. This is mostly bluegrass. I have Everest Kentucky Bluegrass mixed in with a couple other Kentucky Bluegrass, and then I did sprinkle in maybe a quarter, 25% of perennial ryegrass. So on a new lawn, bare topsoil, Kentucky Bluegrass, really small seed, you only need about 3 pounds per 1,000 square feet. For perennial ryegrass, you're between 5 and 9 pounds, somewhere in there. So we'll say 6.5 or so. So if I need to cover 12,000 square feet with Kentucky Bluegrass, I would need about 36 pounds of seed. With perennial ryegrass, you're gonna need about 75 pounds of seed. So with my custom mix, I think I'm gonna shoot for maybe 40 to 45 pounds of seed. 100% Everest Kentucky Bluegrass. This is Champion Perennial Ryegrass. It's a mix of 3 different cultivars. I kind of do some crazy mixes, but hey, it worked really well before. So what I want to do here is go up and then go across. It's a ton of walking, but when you do a grid pattern, a crisscross pattern, you're not going to miss any spots. First load. All the seed is down. I shouldn't have stopped to eat because my body is slowing down. I should have just kept going, but the seed's down, and if you wanted to just stop now, you could. You're going to get good germination with just doing it that way, but I like to do 2 more things to really ensure good germination. Here's a very good look at the cross pattern spreading. I should have a very good grow in, consistent, because I don't think I missed much area there. This is the area that's hand raked, so it's light and fluffy, and with some irrigation or just natural rain, it is going to drive that seed into the soil and get it nice and firmly packed. So you can definitely quit now. What I like to do next, and I don't have time tonight because I'm just out of time, I'm gonna come in with a fan rake, one of those metal fan rakes, and rake the entire 12,000 square feet. It sucks, it's a lot of work, but it just gets a little bit more soil on top of that seed. Back for another day, and the first thing that I want to do is fire up this irrigation zone. I should have put my nozzles in first. I did that last year and I didn't do it this year because I was in a rush, so now I have to crawl in the dirt here and get them set in. And now we test it. One of the more satisfying parts of doing a large lawn seeding, if you have irrigation, is seeing if the irrigation actually works. Here we go. Please work. Nice. 1, 2. Should have more over here. 3, 4, 5. All right, time for the next step. I'm going to take this fan rake and lightly rake this surface. I like to do it because I think it keeps that seed moist a little bit longer. I'm gonna drag this rake, and all I wanna do, not with a lot of force, just kind of drag that rake. It's gonna shake that seed up with the soil, stir it up, mix it a little bit under the soil so that when I come out with the roller and get the irrigation on here, I think that seed, after it's raked, is not going to dry out as quickly. So that's my plan, so here we go. Nothing like a nice walk on a cool summer's day. That just looks so good with the rake. You definitely don't have to do it, but it does clean it up nice. It's got that seed under the soil, and now I get to go for another walk. Going with 16-32-6, and that middle number is phosphorus, and that is what I want for root growth. I don't really care too much about green growth. Yes, I want to see it germinate and sprout, but when this root gets out of the seed, well, I need to take care of it in the soil, and I want to provide it with some food. Starter fertilizer down. That area looks a lot smaller from up here, and while I wait for those sprinklers to complete their cycle, I've got a minute here to hit a ball at the backyard golf course. We have an expanded back nine. The fairway is seeded. Here we go. Let's see if I can get one close, or at least on the green. I'm not going to get greedy here. Oh my God. Ooh, I'm a little stiff from the yard work. That's a 60 degree. That was hit like a 2-iron. I think I'm going to stop right now. I'm going to get the roller out. Could have used a good shot there. Could have used a good one. The final step of this lawn seeding. Don't laugh at my mower. It's missing some parts. It's had a good career, and it's been relegated now in retirement to these easy jobs like pulling behind a tow behind roller. That lawn roller is full of water, maybe halfway, nothing crazy. I just want to apply some weight to this soil and get that seed packed, the seed to soil contact. I want that packed. So there we go, start to finish. That's a lawn seeding. That's what you have to do. Don't be afraid to do it. I'm just a normal guy here who likes to shape dirt, grow grass on it. I'm not a professional. You can definitely do this on a smaller scale. You can save so much money. I don't know what that would cost to get someone to do it, but just do it yourself. It's a lot of fun. I'll be back out with the camera here for sure. We could see some germination on that for 5 or 6 days. I'm gonna be here for the rest of the year, right to the end of freeze up, as we continue to work on that back nine, like I like to call it. But right now, I've got some redemption. I have a green to hit. I gotta do it. Make up for that skull job that I sent into the bush behind the green. No pressure, 60 yards. Let's get one on there. Oh, maybe. Oh, I will take that. I'm gonna turn the camera off right there. Thanks for watching this one. Like I said, we'll be back. That should be green in 2 weeks. We might have some green in a week, but 2 weeks from now should look really good. Thanks for watching.